Hello friends, it's Justin and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a very special video to share with you today. A little bit ago, I was contacted by Catherine Pooler Designs and they were like, hey, we've got a new kit coming out. Would you like to play with it? And I said, absolutely. So this is going to be a little sneak peek of what you can find in the new Airmail kit. So let's go ahead. I'm covering up my address very conspicuously. Now I did open this up in advance because I wanted to go ahead and just kind of stage everything in the package, and I wanted to go over it with you all. So we've got this beautiful blue paper that comes with it with a little sticker that says "With Love." And there are so many goodies that are in this kit. So we've got a die that says WSAK, so sealed with a kiss, along with a little long rectangular postage outline. We have the new signed, sealed, delivered 6x6 paper pack. You know, let me put this down just a little bit because I feel like it's affecting the light so you guys can see everything inside this awesome box. So let's go ahead. All right, I think that'll do it. So we've got the signed, sealed, delivered 6x6 pattern paper. You get a little bit of a sneak peek of everything that's included. And I just think that these are some really fun, whimsical designs. It incorporates a lot of different letters and hearts and clouds and postage symbols and just a lot of fun stuff. So I love this paper. Next, we've got a propeller airplane die. I'm so excited to get into using this die because I think it's going to really be a fun focal point for these projects. And there are also some whimsical sort of swirly design cloud dies that come with this kit as well. So these will definitely work so perfectly with this propeller plane. I'm really excited to use them together. Next, we've got some stamp sets and some coordinating dies. So first, we have the Sent with Love stamp set, and it's a stamp set of stamps. And they've got all of these different designs that you're going to be able to use to put on your project, along with, of course, the coordinating dies. Just by looking at this, I can see that you would be able to stamp the XOXO, and I believe it looks like that the X and the O to the side would fit inside of here. So if you wanted it to be like a background in, let's say, like party dress, and you wanted to stamp like the X's and one X and one O in like Fiesta Blue, you totally could do that to sort of layer everything. You've also got this sentiment that's L and E and O and V. These are going to layer together, I can already tell, to have sort of a dual tone stamp option for you in addition. There's another design that you're going to be able to put into this smaller stamp. So these two larger designs are going to go on this big stamp. The smaller designs are going to go on the smaller stamp. And you've got some really fun sentiments like Sealed with a Kiss, Missing You from Afar, Sending My Love to You, which works perfectly with this stamp set. We're not done though. There are more stamps to be had. We've got a second set. This one is called Airmail. And of course we've got the coordinating dies. And these are going to give you some of those fantastic solid image stamps that Catherine Pooler Designs always so wonderfully includes with their stamp sets. And these designs just are going to work so perfectly. We've got an open envelope, a closed envelope, different little postage marks that you're going to be able to use on your envelopes. Postage marks like this. We've got a heart. We've got a special delivery stamp. I'm already seeing that these are going to make a super fun background to create of these different images. So I'm really excited to use this. And you can also die cut all the images out as well. So this is amazing. Now, not to be partial though, I think this stamp set is my favorite. So this is a Postcards from the Heart stamp set, and it coordinates with this die set that you're able to design some really fun sort of postcard designs. So it's got the whole postcard like on the actual side that you write your little notes on and the address information. So you can make like two-sided cards with these. And on the front, this is going to be a layered image and this is going to say "With Love." But if you look with this "With Love," it's a three-part, actually it looks like it's a four-part stamp set. You're going to be able to stamp out the "With Love" outline, and then you're going to be able to stamp part of the sentiment. It's a larger portion of the sentiment. And if you see the different lines in here, it looks like there's clouds, there's a plane. You're going to be able to go in and stamp those different colors. So this is going to give you, the With Love is going to get you the colors of the sky. This portion of the With Love on top looks like it's all of the clouds. And then this little bit, you can actually tell by the shape, but it layers on here. This is going to give you the airplane. So I really love all of that. And you're going to be able to make some really fun postcard designs for your project. And especially with this die set, I love that it comes with these different banners too. That's going to just make it super fun. Now, one of the most important things, I don't know all the details, but if you clock this already, well, and of course we've got a little Crafty Resources postcard that has everything that's included with the stamp set for you to reference, along with resources that you can scan your QR code to go ahead and get some video tutorial and different inspiration from the Catherine Pooler Design staff. So that's fantastic. But what I'm always the most excited about is we have new ink. This, if you can't read it, let me bring it up a little closer. It says Blue Raspberry. So, I'm so excited to get to play with this. I'm so grateful they sent me a mini stamp set along with a refill for the stamp, or for the ink. I said mini stamp set, I meant ink pad. You get what I mean. So we're gonna play with this definitely. And then I do wanna talk about as well what Catherine Pooler always does when it comes to different kits and different papers. They're always so wonderful that they choose their own color palettes for their paper packs, and then they tell you underneath what colors this is going to go with. So this specific set is designed to work with Cotton Candy, Party Dress, Rockin' Red, Mardi Gras, Minted, the new Blue Raspberry, and Something Borrowed. So this is going to be a lot of playing around with pinks and reds and mints and blues, and I love the different color palettes that Catherine Pooler Designs comes up with. This one is going to be super fun. So let's go ahead, now that I've showed you a little bit of a sneak peek of everything that's included with this new Airmail box, let's make a card together so we can get a closer look on how these products are going to look together. So we're going to get a closer look at some of these stamps. We're definitely going to use the Blue Raspberry ink, and stay tuned for a card tutorial. I'm going to flip this over. You're going to get my voiceover voice now, so it might sound a little bit different, and I'll catch you in a second. All right, back into my voiceover mode, we are going to do a start to finish card tutorial using products from the Airmail Box by Catherine Pooler Designs. For this card, I am going to be focusing on the Postcards from the Heart stamp and die set, along with the signed, sealed, delivered pattern paper collection. I think that these products are going to coordinate extremely well together, so I'm going to start by picking out a pattern of paper from the signed, sealed, delivered paper pack to use for the background of this card. I settle on this pink, white, and red envelope pattern that's got a bunch of little red hearts on it, and I do trim my paper down to size so that it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 to fit on an A2 sized card. Now be sure to hold on to those scraps for later because you never know when they'll come in handy in the future. After my pattern paper, I am going to pull in some white premium cardstock by Catherine Pooler, which is what I love to use for stamping any of my images. So I am also going to trim this down to an A2 sized panel. I'm actually going to get 2 of them, and I'm going to use them both for the project. Pulling in the Postcards from the Heart die set, I wanted to focus on this envelope die that's got a rectangle around it. Now you can tweeze these apart if you wanted to, but I'm choosing to keep them connected together so that it cuts a perfect frame for me. Using the new Blue Raspberry ink, I am going to take one of the white premium cardstock panels and smear the Blue Raspberry ink along the edges. I just want to make sure that there's enough ink so I'll be able to put that postcard die from the Postcards from the Heart die set over it and cut it entirely on top of the Blue Raspberry ink portion of the paper. So I've got that ink all smushed down, and we can move on to getting this panel secured with the die cut. This is always a great time to pull in a low tack tape. I am going to use some mint tape by scrapbook.com to go ahead and secure this die to my panel. I will run this through my die cutting machine so that I get a nice cut from this die, and then we can begin the process of stamping out our main sentiment. Using another panel of the white premium cardstock, I am pulling in the postcards from the heart stamp set, and we are going to start by stamping out the with love sentiment. I think that this sentiment and this set of stamps is so much fun because you are going to be creating a layered stamp effect with 4 different stamps, and it just begs to be used with some fantastic colors. So we're going to start with something borrowed, and I'm going to stamp that out over the large outline of the with love. And remember, this something borrowed is part of the color palette included with the signed, sealed, delivered paper pack. So we're going to get a nice impression of the something borrowed. And once we have enough of it stamped out, we are going to move on to our next image. This is going to focus on the sky portion of this stamp. I'm going to use the cotton candy ink to have a pink sky for this portion of our layered stamp. So I'm laying out my cotton candy ink onto the stamp, getting a nice impression of it, and then we can move on to the clouds that are a part of the sentiment as well. So this is stamp number 3. I'm trying to line everything up so you're seeing just a little bit of my hair on the bottom edge of the screen, and we're going to pick up that stamp to make sure that it's attached to my Misty window and stamp it out in some minted ink by Catherine Pooler Designs. All the inks that I'm using for this card are part of the coordinating inks that are part of the signed, seal, deliver paper pack that is included in this kit, so it's a great way to make sure your colors are all going to be on scene. Lastly, for the 4th stamp, we are going to use that little airplane stamp, and I am going to pick that up with my Misty door, and then we are going to stamp it out in the last color for this image, and that is going to be the Rockin' Red ink. So I've gone ahead, I'm going to just smush that nicely onto my stamp, and then we will stamp that all to get it nicely into place. I love how all of these colors work together, and I just think that this sort of a stamp is just so much fun to work with. Now I'm going to die cut out my With Love sentiment. There's not a coordinating die for the With Love, but I am going to use that same postcard set of dies, which is the little ticked frame along with the rectangle that goes around it, and I am going to just die cut this out to size. The reason I'm doing this is that it's going to allow me to inlay this panel with the With Love inside of that blue raspberry frame that we had die cut previously. After I get the rectangle die cut out, I am going to bring in some cotton candy ink and a blending brush and blend the edges of the rectangle. I just didn't want it to be the stark white color of the premium white paper, and it works so nicely, that paper does, with the Catherine Pooler inks and blending on top of it. So I thought, since we use the cotton candy ink for the sky inside of the stamp, we could carry that out outside of the stamp as well. So I'm just carefully ink blending those edges to make it a little bit more cotton candy in color. And now we're going to utilize a couple more scraps from what we've worked with to ensure that we're just sort of maximizing that premium white cardstock. So I am going to stamp out the sun from the postcards of the heart stamp set, and then I will also be pulling out the sentiment for this card as well, and we are going to get those all laid out for our Misty so that we can stamp them out in some Mardi Gras ink in a moment. So we're going to put down that Wish You Were Here sentiment, put my Misty door down, pull it up, and then use that Mardi Gras ink. Now, of course, a little bit of a tumble with the ink top of the pad. Being transparent, I am going to end up changing my mind later in this video and not using the Mardi Gras sun. For whatever reason, for the color palette that I'm using, I just don't love the green as a sun, so I wanted to use it for the sentiment for certain, and we'll go ahead, we'll die cut that out using the coordinating dies from the postcards of the hearts die set for the coordinating with the stamp set, and then we're also going to be able to die cut out the sun as well. I love that with this Airmail box, it contains the coordinating dies to almost all of the stamps included, so it makes for some really fun crafting. I'm going to flip over the scrap from this panel and then take some of the party dress ink and smush it onto the back. This is going to allow me to dye the paper that party dress pink color, and I'm going to use the cluster of hearts die that's included with the Postcards of the Heart coordinating die set. This doesn't coordinate with any images that are presented in the Postcards of the Heart stamp set, but instead, it is going to allow you to die cut out like 10 hearts at once that you can use as embellishments or shaker bits for your project. So here you see what I mentioned a little bit earlier. I'm kind of realizing I don't love the use of a green sun with that Mardi Gras color for this project. It just didn't fit with what I wanted to go for. So I'm kind of hemming and hawing and figuring out that I can just go ahead and stamp a new sun over this panel. And so I am going to take this sun with the raised stamp from the Postcards of the Heart stamp set, pull it up with my Misty Door, and then I decide to go in with that Rockin' Red ink. I just thought that a warm tone for the sun with the other warm tones in this project, that it would work really well, and I definitely do like the Rockin' Red sun just a little bit more for this card than the Mardi Gras ink. I've also got some little sort of airtail, we'll call them airtail tick marks. There's a stamp from that with the Postcards of the Heart stamp set. I am going to take the blue raspberry mini ink pad included in the Airmail box, put the ink over the stamp, and then just sort of stamp out some of those little air trail tick marks for you. So I'm going to put that onto the panel, and this is just going to give a little bit of interest to the card, creating a little bit of fun background elements. These little elements of adding these little background shapes and images in really bring your project to a new level because it adds extra thought and detail to the card. Now, I did get an extra rectangle for the frame when I had die cut out the With Love sentiment panel, and I didn't want to waste it. So I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and adhere the blue raspberry frame directly on top of the white frame, and it's going to help us add just a little bit of extra dimension to our card. So my frame is going to be raised just a little slightly more than the With Love portion of our panel, and I thought that that would work really nicely. I also like to layer my sentiments as well and my die cuts because it makes them just a little bit more secure to work with. Sometimes when you're just working with a single piece of paper, you got to kind of make sure it's not going to fold over on itself and create any sort of crease marks. I know that by adhering these two layers together, that's not something I'm going to have to worry about. So I use my Misty Precision Glue Press to adhere my blue raspberry frame unit to my heart letters. Yeah, we'll call it heart letters. I think that's a cute name for this pattern paper. We're going to adhere it to this heart pattern that's included in that Sign Seal Deliver pattern paper collection. And then we're going to use my Misty Precision Glue Press once again to inlay the With Love panel inside of the frame. I'm just running my fingers gently along to make sure it's all pushed within the frame. And then I've gone ahead and I'm going to put some foam tape behind the Mardi Gras ink sentiment that says "Wish You Were Here." So I'm still getting that Mardi Gras color that's included with the palette for this collection. And then we're going to add in some of those hearts that we had die cut earlier from the party dress ink. I like to put the glue down first, just kind of mapping out where I want my embellishments to go. And then I'm going to use a craft pick tool to get them all nicely into place. So I'm going to settle on 3 hearts. I thought that was enough because there's a lot going on with this card, and we've got those little air trail marks in the background as well. And before we finish everything up, the last thing that we're going to have to do is adhere this panel to an A2 size card base that I've prepared off camera. Once this panel is nicely secured to the card base, our project is fully completed. That came together super quick, and I love how this Airmail box really allows you to make these super sweet mail and postage inspired cards, and rather quickly as well. I hope you loved this unboxing and inspiration using the new Airmail box by Catherine Pooler Designs. All of the products that I've used to create this card are linked below for your shopping convenience. Now they are affiliate links, so using those links do help support me and my crafting at no additional cost to you. Lastly, I did want to share a little bit of inspiration using the 3 cards that I created using the new Airmail Box by Catherine Pooler Designs, and of course to take a moment to thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future card making inspiration, and I can't wait to see you back real soon. Goodbye.